She always knew her path would be different from everyone else's. Deep inside, she carried a quiet but unshakable belief: there's always room in this world for kindness that can change lives. 27 years ago, a young woman stood by the gates of an orphanage. The sky was gray, the air heavy, and from one of the windows, 2 boys were watching her, thin, dark-skinned, wary, but with eyes full of hope. Their gaze seemed to ask, "You're not going to leave, are you?" Everyone tried to talk her out of it. Family, friends, even strangers. They said it was too hard, that taking in children not your own was too much responsibility, that love alone might not be enough. They warned her, the world can be cruel, and a child's pain runs deeper than you think. But she didn't listen. There was already a place for them in her heart, warm, fearless, and full of light. She brought them home, to a small 2-room apartment on the edge of the city. That first evening, she made a simple dinner, set out the tea, and sat beside them quietly as they ate, still not believing this was real. The early days weren't easy. Sicknesses, nightmares, silent tears in the dark when they whispered, "You won't leave us, will you?" She would stroke their heads, whisper lullabies, read them stories about courage and kindness, and patiently teach them to trust again. Little by little, the house came alive. It filled with laughter, the smell of fresh pastries, and the sound of small feet running through the hallway. Each day brought tiny victories, a shy smile, a burst of laughter, a quiet "thank you." Years passed. The boys grew up. One dreamed of saving lives and went on to study medicine. The other loved computers and spent hours creating small digital worlds of his own. She worked tirelessly, sometimes late into the night, to make sure they never went without anything. She was there through every failure, every triumph, teaching them to be strong but never cruel, brave but always kind. They didn't remember her words as much as they remembered her hands, warm, steady, always there when things hurt. Time flew by. One became a doctor, respected, gentle, always rushing to help. The other became an IT specialist, building things he once only dreamed about. They often visited, called, helped with anything she needed, but in her eyes, they were still those 2 little boys she had once held for the first time at the orphanage gates. On her 50th birthday, they arrived together, smiling, carrying flowers, glowing with excitement. "Mom," they said, "come with us." By the sea, on a sunny coastline, stood a new house. Bright, spacious, filled with light and the scent of salt in the air. It was their gift. A home where she could finally rest, write, read, watch sunsets, and live without worries or work. She stood on the threshold for a long time, not believing her eyes. Tears welled up, not from sadness, but from the deep, quiet joy of realizing that life had given back all the love she once gave so freely. She had never expected anything in return. She simply did what her heart told her was right. She gave love to those who needed it most. And as the sun dipped below the horizon, she sat on the veranda, listening to the soft sound of the waves and thinking that happiness isn't an accident. It's a journey, a long, sometimes difficult, but beautiful path. A path chosen by the heart. And when you walk it with faith and kindness, life will always find a way to give that love back, multiplied many times over.